All right, today I'm going to take a look at the Lowepro ProTrekker BP 350 AW2, and then this is the Peak Design Everyday Backpack 20 liter or 20L. I bought the Lowepro to basically replace the Peak Design bag, and I'll just kind of explain why. This may help you because I wish I would have seen this myself before I went ahead and bought the Peak Design backpack, but I may have bought it anyway. You know how that goes. The backpacks, everybody's got more backpacks than they need, or camera bags, sling bags, whatever. So the issues I'm having with the Peak Design bag is just a little too restrictive for me. It's you know, the shape of it. I know there's a new version of this. This is the original version. And you know, let me just jump right into a few things. So if one thing is, apologize for the position here because I don't really have a good spot to do this. The bottom of the backpack is not totally flat, so depending on what you have in it, you know, it can't really stand up on its own. It just wants to fall over. Whereas with the you know, the Lowepro bag, it's basically flat on the bottom. So that was one issue. The other issue is, we'll just kind of get the bag and start going through it. You know, it's one of those bags, and other companies have kind of made copies of this, you know, their own versions of it, you know, like open from the side, and, you know, it's supposed to be a, you know, a big convenience to be able to open up the sides of it instead of having to unzip the whole front of it, you know, that's how they talk about it. So look how convenient it is, you can get in from the sides. Well, the problem is, you know, then that's the only way you can load it. It's much more convenient, I think, to put everything in from the top, or the back, whatever you want, because they make backpacks where you can get in from the back. So, just checking my camera here. So the hardware is really nice hardware. You know, the quality of the materials is really good. Nice zippers, and they've got little locks on the zippers where you can, just checking the position in the framing here. This little strip can be loosened or taken apart and tied into the zipper up here, for example, or on this little tab here, this little loop, and to keep somebody from like unzipping it real quick, or unzipping it quietly and sneakily without anybody knowing, like on a crowded train or something, you're not paying attention. Excuse me. And then they can get in and take something out of your bag. But you know, it's very customizable as far as these, you know, these little ledges here, the little shelves, and these pop up, of course. If you've looked at backpacks and looked at the Peak Design bags, you already know all this. And these are soft enough material, it's not going to scratch anything. But you do have, like, the only logical place I can put my camera if I want to get it quickly is here on the top. And that's going to create a few problems that I'll explain. First, you've got this zipper that has, you know, it's metal, and it has a little place to protect it. You know, if you push it up in there, but you've still got a little bit of metal sticking out there, and there's still a hard spot. But probably wouldn't bother the camera because it's, you know, the way I put it in, I would put in, you know, the camera sideways, so it's lying on its side with the back of the camera facing this way. So the lens would be facing the other way, and just kind of on its side. So I'd be able to open up the bag here in the front, reach down inside, grab the camera grip, you know, the grip, the camera, and then pull it straight out of the top. So that's how I would normally use it, which means then now you've got this storage spot on the top, and it's kind of somewhat sealed the way this material is, you know, to keep the rain out. There's no other extra bag that comes with it to seal out the rain or anything like that, and I'll get into that too. Basically, it just has these, you know, this kind of rubbery plastic material here that mostly seals it up and does a pretty good job of keeping, you know, would keep rain out pretty well. But you've got this little pocket here, and that would be like when I'm traveling, where I might put keys or a wallet or anything like that. You know, put my phone in there temporarily, but now this thing is getting in the way of where your camera sits. And again, I have to put my camera here to be able to get it out easily, just by lifting the flap here. So that's the whole point of the way I would load it that way. And everything else down here, power cables and chargers and extra lenses, they would go somewhere down here, and then extra cables and so on in these side pockets. So you do have some things here you can put in, little storage spots for, some pre-built things for batteries or whatever. You put a little bottle of lens cloth or lens cleaner in there. That's kind of what I do. And this is a little bit of a protective, it's kind of cushiony. This material here, it's not just a thin, piece of material that if something hard is in here where it could start poking on your camera, but again, depending on how hard of, an object you put in there and how pointy it is, you still could kind of poke through and start banging on the back of your camera. On my camera, Nikon Z8 or, the ZFC has a flip around screen where you can protect the LCD on the rear screen, and so that wouldn't bother that. But the Z8, the LCD would be right here, so anything on this side could poke in the screen. So there's that. So it's just, those are some kind of limitations for me, and it does have some side pockets, but there's two of them, one on each side, and it's got a little magnet here. It kind of keeps it closed, but it's not, it's got a little of a stretchy material right here, and it does expand a little bit, but it's kind of hard to put anything big and anything a little bit rigid in there. You put a bottle of water in there, it's still going to be kind of tight, either way on either side here. I've got a pack of gum in there. It does have a handle on each side, so I like that. But again, these side pockets, they're not closed up. They can't zip. You can't zip them up. So if I'm putting this under airplane seat, like I would, that's how I'd be carrying it. I'm not going to put it up in the storage bin over top of the seat on an airplane. Anything that's in here could possibly fall out. It could happen. The other thing is with this, the top. So now you see this is not really sealed up here totally. And I see how this right here, so open that up. This does expand. That's one thing they, advertise is that, look, you can make it bigger. And you just hook this to the very top. But if you have that hooked to the very top, then this material here, again, it could potentially flop open on the side there. And then, again, it's not totally secure. It's not all zipped up. You just have this open area where stuff can come out, or rain can get in there if it's raining. So that, while I like it, and this would work good for certain things, but I think for me specifically as a camera bag, these are the the kind of deficiencies I'm seeing for myself. That, just keep that in mind. I'm talking about using it just for moving my camera from point A to point B on vacations and so on. Let's see. It does have the little pass-through in the back here where you can stick that through a handle on your suitcase. What else? The bottom is kind of a material, little bit more waterproof material. Now there is something here for securing a tripod. These, I think, this one actually is meant to go like here across to this one and this one to keep, the bag from the shoulder straps from separating and kind of wanting to fall off your shoulder. So there's that. Let's see, I can't remember, does this have a, yeah, it does. It does have a waist strap, which is kind of tucked in. So that's one thing they try to do, is make it so you can kind of hide everything, but there is a waist strap tucked in here. It's just kind of hidden. I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but it's tucked in there. So you could have that out, and that would go around your waist. So mostly my issues with it is not the construction, which I think is great. It's just the kind of odd shape, and and up here, unless you open it up really far, or expand it like up in here to make it bigger this way, which I wouldn't want to do because everything fits fine if I'd leave it like this. But you've kind of got this odd shape. It's not like a total rectangle, or it's not flat basically. It comes out and then goes down an angle, so you lose some space there. You lose a little space here in the bottom. Now let's compare that with this Low Pro Again, this is the ProTrekker BP 350AW2. There's the name of it right there in the back. Just looking at the back here, there is a waist strap that I've detached. I don't have it on here right now. So it comes with a waist belt that goes through here, or it connects on here somehow. I don't use it. But you do have a waist belt, and you also have a tripod pocket which can attach back here, so you can, I don't have that out to show you right now, but it's down in my basement, but there's a little tripod pocket you can attach on the outside, and so your legs of your tripod will go in there. So looking at the outside of it, the advantages I see right away, you've got this pocket that's zippable, and so you've got stuff in here, you've got a nice little pocket there where you can put keys, wallet, phone, anything like that. Real easy to get to. Plane tickets and all that kind of stuff. I normally only use this when I'm traveling on a longer trip, and it's only to get the gear from point to point. That's the other thing to keep in mind. I don't walk around with this. In the past, I used to carry my backpack and my lenses and everything else, but I don't really do that anymore. So once I get to where I'm going, the backpack stays in the room, and I might have a little tiny bag, shoulder bag that I would take. Usually not. I just use, normally like on a vacation, I'm just using one lens and one camera body, one lens, and a couple extra batteries, and a lens cleaning cloth, and I'll just put the battery in the lens cloth. And if I'm getting close on storage space, I'll extra memory cards. Put that in my pocket. So we've got this here, and then we've got all these little spots where you can hook things through. You can put something behind that and strap something to it. You've got these little straps here. I can't remember exact use of these, but you could use them for your tripod or attach other things on here. I don't normally use this, that's why I'm not that familiar with exactly why you might be using it. There's another little pass-through right there. This looks like some kind of ripstop material, which is nice. And this is pretty lightweight overall. And then the other nice thing is, if you look at the size of these, the widths, the storage space on the Peak Design and the storage space, the main storage space, flip it over, on the Low Pro, which is like right here, is about the same. So from here to here and here to about here, without this flap being open, that's the storage space inside the backpack, and that's where your camera and all that equipment is going to be. It's about the same, but you gain a little bit down here because you don't have that weird angle on the bottom of the bag, which means it'll stand up on its own. And again, I think the new backpack from Peak Design, the newer version of this, is a little more flat on the bottom, so it can stand up on its own better. But then you gain this up here too on the Low Pro. And this would take up a little more space under the seat on an airplane, but you see it's the same width really. If you put them this way side by side, it's really the same width. It's just a little bit taller as you're sticking in the seat, so it'll be sticking up just a little bit more on an airplane seat because you have this extra pocket here, which I'll show you. But this does have handles on each side. The Low Pro only has it on one side, just this side, and it's kind of got a stretchy material. It'll kind of go back. Same with this one up here. This one's got a rubbery gripper on it, and more of these places where you can attach things. So anyway, let's get back to the pockets. I think they advertise this as like a water bottle pocket, so if you unzip that, see it's still a pocket. You haven't just totally opened up this flap, where everything will fall out. It's basically a pocket like that, so you can put a bigger water container in there if you want to use it that way, but you could use it for other stuff. Then you can zip that back up. But now you've also got this one, so again, there's another little extra pocket for me. That's a good advantage for me. So I've got these pockets because I wouldn't have a water bottle in there in an airport, things like that. So I've got these two little pockets for sort of flat stuff. You've got this one here in the front. On this side, you don't have any. You've got more of these little spots where you can pass things through and clips and so on. This back, this back actually, you can unsnap this and you can end up putting the backpack shoulder straps behind here if they're kind of getting in your way while you're in an airport traveling or whatever, so the bottom and top will unsnap and you can put this totally under there. So probably won't use that much myself, but you can also, so get this snapped back on here. You know, you could pass this through a piece of luggage, you know, a handle on a suitcase if you want to stick this on top of your suitcase, pull it all down through the airport. Let's see, any other features here? So this piece here, this can slide up and down. It's got a little, there's a hard like wire or something in here, so you can slide these up and down to adjust it for your comfort. You know, it's like that piece that was on the Peak Design bag to keep the shoulder straps from separating too much. And of course all this is fully adjustable, just like any backpack. So that's the outside. Now the advantage to this, let me go back to the Peak Design real quick. You do have a spot for a laptop and like a tablet, you know, so you've got this spot again that I mentioned. But then you've got, if you separate it one time, you've got a spot that goes down about 3/4 of the way, and then if you move that over a little bit more, if you can see this very well, but there's a spot that goes all the way down. But now the bag is already kind of tight, and if you try to jam a laptop in there and you've already got it full of equipment, camera gear and so on, it's going to be really tight and maybe it just won't fit. But so that's one of the things I like about on the Lowepro. Just to talk about these zippers real quick, these are the way these are designed. You can bring the zippers together and put something through there to lock it, you know, for the outside zipper and the one on the inside to get into the main part of the bag. If you pull them together all the way, there's a spot to put some kind of a little lock there. So anyways, if you open this up, so now you've got this one. I'm trying to see where I am on the camera here. So you've got this little pouch here. You can put something down in there. So that's a nice spot, and this is all padded. You've got a zipper area here. You can kind of see through there, see what's in there. Sorry about the camera bump. And this has a little place to sneak the zipper up into to protect it, so I like that. And I like a camera backpack to protect my stuff, you know, because it's just a hobby for me, and pay a lot of money for it, so I want to make sure it's all protected and, you know, in great shape if I ever need to sell it, which I do. Place for a tablet here, so that goes all the way down to the bottom, and a place for a laptop here, which goes all the way down to the bottom, of course. So now you've got all that extra space right here, real easy to get to. You don't have to open up the whole bag to get to it, and just real simple and easy. Now for the main part of the bag, so now bring this down a little bit. So now you have here in the top flap, trying to get this in the position. I don't have the best place to do this. I've probably mentioned that before. But you've got another pocket here, which you can't really see through. And again, it's got that spot that goes up under there to protect the zipper from hitting the top of your camera or anything like that. And another one up here, which is a little bit see-through. And again, you know, you can push that way up under there. It's got this little kind of like shrink wrap stuff on here. So you can just use that to push the head of the zipper all the way in. So I like that. So there's a couple pockets there. Looks like this is like a couple pockets for memory cards. You know, I wouldn't really use it because I have, you know, something for my memory cards already. Now back to the main part of the bag. Let's see here. I keep calling it the bag, but it's a backpack. So Lowepro has this, which you can totally remove. It's just this extra little pouch that has a zipper on it. And it does have, you know, a couple little adjustable dividers inside. This is somewhat see-through. And the bottom and the sides are a little bit padded. It's not real thick, which you wouldn't really want it to be. It'd take up too much space. But that's just a nice little convenient thing for, you know, cables, chargers, things like that that are just kind of loose that you might, you know, I've got a little, just a small version of a battery pack for like charging a phone. And I've got a bigger one, but you know, a smaller one that just, you know, I could put that in there. I like to keep some of the what is that, desiccant, you know, the moisture absorbing stuff in there. So if I find them, you know, a really good one in some equipment that I have to deal with at work or anywhere, I usually save those. So that's a good one. This here, this orange one, I think originally came in here like this, and it's just about halfway down, so you can kind of like make a shelf. You can put something in there, and then put something else on top of it. But you've got plenty of dividers here. You know, these two main dividers are really thick, and it has, you know, a material that you can, it's like Velcro. It's like the soft part of the Velcro, and the other side, you know, you would use these. Anything you attach to it has the hooks. So I guess this would be the loop, and this would be the hook and loop. Kind of like, you know, it's Velcro. Velcro is the name brand, but this is not name brand Velcro. But anyway, you know what I mean. You've got all these dividers where you can put different lenses, and I haven't really moved these much right now because this is brand new. I haven't taken the time to put what I would use in there on a vacation. But I did adjust this for my Nikon Z8 with a 24-120, so I would just pull these off, you know, both of these, probably just one of them. I could stick the camera in there and then put this back over it, and then that kind of keeps the camera from moving up a little bit. It shouldn't anyway, because, you know, you'd obviously have the bag zipped up, but if you were to unzip it and something, you know, you accidentally fumbled around and the bag kind of tipped a little bit, at least if you have this in there, maybe it'll stop it from falling out. But it's very well padded, thick padded around the outer edges and bottom. And this gives me a lot of space to stick everything, and a lot of customization to get everything I need in there the way I want it in there, or a way that it's convenient. So that's really, it's just a traditional backpack on the inside. The other thing was, oh yeah, in the bottom. Now this is an all-weather bag, not by itself, but it does, and maybe people would not really like that much, but there's a cover in the bottom. It's in the bottom here, which is zipped up. So you just unzip that, and then there's a cover in here, which can cover the whole bag, and now it's like totally waterproof. You know, is it a minor inconvenience that you have to manually pull that out and put it on to make it waterproof? Yeah, maybe. But I don't really walk around in the rain a lot myself doing what I do, so I don't mind it being in there. But I like that it's there, because now I know if I'm out, this thing is totally waterproof and I have no issues. And I think that's about it. So this is, you know, the Low Pro versus, or any traditional, sorry, bump the camera again, any traditional backpack versus a Peak Design bag or backpack. Just the reasons I explained, that's kind of why I think I'll prefer this better. I'll probably end up selling this one because I just don't need it. I have this, and I have a really old version, probably from like 2006 or so, or let's see, it's pretty old and dirty. Let's see here. Cat hair and everything else, who knows. But this is a Low Pro Mini Trekker AW, that one I just showed you there, the green one. Bought that way back when I had a D70, Nikon D70, or it might have been a D200. I don't remember exactly when I bought it, if it was when I bought the D70 or the D200. But anyway, that's it, and hopefully that'll help you make a choice between something like the Peak Design backpack or a more traditional backpack from any other company like Low Pro, Tenba, any of the others. All right, thanks for watching.